Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Matt here, and what am I doing in the kitchen? Well, I wanted to do a different video for you all. I'm gonna put my baking skill to the test. I'm gonna show you guys how good I am at cooking. I'm not really that good. Well, I mean, you know, whatever. Alright, so today we're gonna be baking a cake. It's gonna be a chocolate cake. There's really no specific name to it, it's just a chocolate cake. We're gonna have a nice drizzle icing on top of it instead of just frosting covering the whole cake. So let's go ahead, without any further ado, let's just go ahead and take a look at all the stuff we're gonna be using today so you guys can do the same thing if you want, bake the same cake. Okay, so first things first, we're going to be needing 2 cups of all-purpose flour. So we're gonna be needing 3 different measuring cups. A cup, measuring cup, 3/4 measuring cup. As you can see, it says 3/4 right on it. And then 1/2 of a cup, and those are all going to be used. A tablespoon will also be used, as well as 1/4 of a teaspoon, 1/2 of a teaspoon, and a teaspoon. You will need a big mixing bowl to mix all of your ingredients in. You're going to need 2 eggs. You're going to need some baking powder, some baking soda, some vinegar, doesn't really matter what kind you use. I'm going to be using rice vinegar, some cooking oil, I'm going to be using extra light tasting olive oil for frying and baking. You're going to need some all-purpose flour, some sugar, salt. You're going to need some toothpicks to test the cake for making sure when it's done. You're going to need about 1 cup of milk for the actual cake, and then a few tablespoons of milk for the frosting or the drizzle, but this will get specific when we get further into the frosting. And finally, well, not finally, but you're going to need some coffee. Basically, you're going to need about 1 cup of cold brewed coffee. This is still hot because I just cooked it, so let that cool. And finally, some greasing materials for the pan. You're gonna get some vegetable spray or canola oil spray, whatever you want. You're gonna need a pan. I'm gonna use a glass pan. It's better for cooking cakes. A tray. Since this is glass, you can't really put it on top of a countertop, so I have this little tray right here to put the glass pan on top of. Now for the icing, you're going to need some vanilla extract, some of the milk as I already said, some cocoa powder, some sifted powdered sugar. And how do you sift it? Well, it's powdered sugar enough as it is, so you have to sift it in this little sifter right here, and then you're all set. So let's go ahead and without any further ado get started with cooking this thing. Alright, so our first step is to go ahead, we're going to preheat the oven to 350 degrees. So let's go over to the stove and do that. Okay, so that's ready to go. Alright, now we can actually start the baking. So let's go ahead and grease that pan. So, how do you grease the pan? Well, pretty simple. You're going to take your spray, you're going to take some flour, and let's head to the sink. Alright, so first step, you're going to go ahead and spray the whole inside of your pan. Okay. Now go ahead, you're going to take some flour and you're going to put it inside. Alright, now you're going to sift the the flour all around the pan so the whole pan is covered completely with the flour. You're going to try to get the sides as well. Try to get as much of it as possible. You can use your hands a little bit to get dirty. Don't be afraid to get messy. After all, you're cooking with me. So then you can go ahead, pour all the extra powder out, and scrape off some of the lumps. Rinse off your hands. There's your greased pan. Alright, so now that that's all finished, you can go ahead and take your large bowl. So in your large bowl, you're going to combine your flour, sugar, cocoa powder, baking soda, baking powder, and your salt. So let's start with the flour. So for the flour, I'm going to be using all-purpose flour. You're going to need 2 cups of all-purpose flour. So let's go ahead and take our measuring cup right here. I'm going to grab a knife real quick to smooth off the top because you have to be precise. So let's go ahead and shovel some of this inside the cup. Dump that all on. Okay, now we can smooth this off with our knife. So what you do is you start on one end and just go all the way across. Leave a little on, and then you're going to come back, fill in any cracks, and go across again. And there is your flour. Dump that into your mixing bowl, and then you're going to do the same thing again. Go ahead and dump that in. Now you're finished. So go ahead, clean up your little mess that you made. It's okay to get a little dirty, and there's your flour. So now that you have your 2 cups of all-purpose flour in, you're gonna go ahead and put in your sugar. So you're gonna go ahead and take your sugar. We're gonna need 2 cups of white sugar as well. So go ahead and take this out of its bag. All right, pour that into your mixing bowl. All right, now you're gonna get another 2 cups. So I'm gonna use the excess that spilled out first. And pour that into your mixing bowl. You can go ahead, put your sugar away. Okay, so now you're going to go ahead and you're gonna put in your cocoa powder. So for your cocoa powder, you're gonna need 3/4 cup of unsweetened cocoa. So let's go ahead and grab our 3/4 cup. As you can see, this is it right here, 3/4. Let's get our cocoa powder. I'm gonna use up the one that has a little left first, and we're gonna need 1 of these. So 3/4 of a cup of unsweetened cocoa powder. Okay, and now let's top this off with a little more. This is a little darker because it is new. Go ahead, do anything you need to do. Alright, you guys, so let's go ahead, and now we're gonna pour this into our, maybe actually just add a tiny bit more. Alright, now we're gonna spread it out with your knife, like I said before. Alright, and now we can pour it in. Doesn't have to be perfect, should be good enough though. Alright, clean up our little mess here. So now we are going to add our baking soda. So for the baking soda, you're going to need 2 teaspoons. So 2 teaspoons are going to be 2 of these, basically. Pretty self-explanatory. Alright, so I can't speak, you guys. 2 teaspoons. Let's go ahead, even this out perfectly. That is 1 teaspoon. Let's do the other. Even this out. Alright. Add a tiny more because I missed a little bit. And that should be all set for the baking soda. So now you're going to add your baking powder. And for baking powder, you are going to need 1 teaspoon. Oh, and there's the oven, so that means the oven is already at 350 degrees, which is perfect. So that means our cake is ready to go in. But we're not ready, so let's hurry up. So 1 teaspoon. Okay. So 1 teaspoon of baking powder. This is baking powder, this is 1 teaspoon. And it's pretty cool about this can. You can use the top right there to even it out like that. Maybe a little extra in there because it's, alright, there we go, perfect. And there we go, let's dump that in. Alright, now let's put this away. So now we are going to put in our salt. Now the salt gets a little tricky. I'm going to be using mine from a shaker. So you can either pour it in or just shake it in. So I'm going to pour it in just to make life go a little easier. You're going to need 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So this is 1/4 teaspoon, this is 1/2 teaspoon right there. So here's a salt shaker. So let's do this. So 1/2 teaspoon. I'm gonna try to fit it in, there we go, fits. Now we're gonna have to try to even it out a little bit, so I'm gonna pour some of that back in. Okay, that should be good. That's pretty good, don't you think? Pour that in. Alright, you're all set with that. Now, we have to mix this all together. So take a spoon or something, and all this stuff right here, you gotta mix it all together. All that sugar, the flour, the cocoa, the baking soda, the baking powder, and the salt. You wanna make sure it's nice and smooth. You don't want any bumps in it. Alright, you don't want to mix it too much, but just make sure all the lumps are out. Make sure everything is evenly mixed. And that should be good. Alright, now, it says, after you do this, you're going to go ahead and make a well in the middle. Now, what they mean by this is you're going to go ahead and put either a spoon or something right in the middle and kind of make a little well, just like so. Just basically a well. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just like that. Perfect. Okay, so in that well, you're going to go ahead and pour in your eggs, coffee, milk, oil, vinegar. So let's do the eggs first. You're going to need 2 eggs. So go ahead. First of all, I have a bowl right here. This is... Alright, let's do this. Crack. There's 1 egg. Alright. There's another egg. Alright, so now you're going to go ahead, pour your eggs in the middle. They don't have to really be blended. So let's go ahead, pour those in the middle right now. This is going to be pretty interesting. Alright, let's see this. Oh, nice. Awesome. They're perfect. They're just sitting there. Okay, so now you're going to go ahead, pour in your coffee and your milk and your oil and vinegar. So let's do the coffee now. Still a little hot, so I'm going to wait on that. Let's pour in the milk. So let's get the milk ready. You're going to need 1 cup of milk for this. And as you can see, it's already measured beautifully. I'm going to pour that right in the center along with those beautiful eggs. There we go. As you can see, it's starting to overflow and spread all around the cake mix, which is good. That looks delicious so far. Alright, and what's cool is the flour doesn't get wet. It's like so dry, and then it just gets wet after a minute. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and pour in our oil. For oil, we're going to need 1/2 of a cup of vegetable oil. Alright, let's pour that in. Maybe hold it there for a second so like water doesn't just flow off. Alright, so now we are going to add our vinegar. For our vinegar, we're going to need 2 teaspoons of vinegar. So let's go grab 2 teaspoons of vinegar. That's good. Alright, so we have 1 teaspoon right here. We're going to want 2 teaspoons of vinegar. And again, I'm using rice vinegar. So let's give this a sip. Oh, God, it's strong. That's strong stuff, you guys. Alright, 1 teaspoon of vinegar. Let's do this. Oh, I'm sorry, 2 teaspoons of vinegar. Well, this is 1 now. So this is 1. There we go. And this is 2. Perfect. Alright. So let's pour this in slowly. So we're going to need 1 cup of it, actually. So I should probably measure it first. Alright, so let's dry this out a little bit. Alright. That's perfect. Let's go ahead, pour this in to the mix. Alright. It's looking good. That's all I have to say. Now, we are going to mix it. So let's grab a whisk. This is looking so good, you guys. Look at this. Oh my gosh, this looks delicious. Oh. Alright, gotta mix it all together. Get that egg split up nice and combined. As you can see, we have a little technical difficulties here. So if this happens, you guys, if it all the wet flour and wet dry ingredients get stuck in the whisk like this, you're gonna go ahead, take a fork. Alright, get all that out. Gets stuck so easily, and if you put it right back in, it's gonna get stuck again. So you're gonna have to do this a couple times because you need to mix this as well as possible. Alright, so let's get all this from the sides too. You want all of it from the sides to be mixed together. Sides one last time. The bottom. Alright, now we are all set. So let's go ahead and pour this into the pan. Alright, there we go, that's good. Let's go ahead and take the pan over here and we're going to pour this in. So finally, it's time. It's time to make the masterpiece look good. Alright, so here we got our pan. Now, pouring it in. Make sure we didn't forget anything. Mix until smooth. The batter will be thin. Let's make sure the batter's thin. Put it on a knife real quick. Looks pretty thin to me. Alright. Let's get all that off. Oh, I can't wait to taste this thing. Alright, ready? 3, 2, 1. Pour it right along the middle, go back and forth like that. Get all of it out. Oh, looks so good, you guys. So delicious. Everybody, need my spatula. Everybody, you're gonna go ahead. This is perfect for this thing. It bends, it's rubber, and it doesn't really stick. So go ahead, get all of that extra gooey, delicious chocolate cake out. Make sure you don't waste a speck of it. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Pan's almost spotless because of the spatula. That's how you do it. So now we're gonna go ahead and bake it into the oven. Alright, so let's go ahead and put this bad boy into the oven. Alright. Oh, it's hot. Alright, it's right in there. Alright, so now what I'm gonna do is go ahead, clean up this whole mess. I'm going to keep out all the ingredients and material that we need for the frosting, or the drizzle, and then I'm going to get the frosting done. Alright, now it's time to make the frosting. So all the cake's in the oven, let's do this. Alright you guys, so for the ingredients we're going to be needing 1 cup of sifted powdered sugar. So let's get that ready first. So I have a towel so we don't have a big mess. I have a bowl to put all the sifted sugar in. I have my cup, measuring cup, my sifter, and of course we have our powdered sugar. So let's go ahead and open the powdered sugar up, take this out of the main bag. So let's pour 1 cup of this powdered sugar into this red measuring cup. Now we're going to pour this in there. Okay, pinch extra. Alright, now this is a big mess. So let's go ahead, clean this up. Alright, so now let's go ahead, grab a bowl. We're going to pour this powdered sugar into the bowl, like that. You're going to take a knife or something and just kind of sift it around. You want it all to be sifted into the bowl. You may want to use a bigger bowl just because it might go over the size a little bit. So I'll be right back when I finish sifting this. Alright, now. That's done. So now let's go ahead. That's all finished being sifted. So once we have that, we can put that aside for now. So now what we're going to do is we are going to take, well, first of all, we're going to need a bowl to mix this all together. So here's the perfect bowl. We're going to pour in our 1 cup of sifted powdered sugar. This is already 1 cup. Now we're going to pour in our 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Smells delicious. Tastes so bitter though. And you know what? We could put in a little extra because it smells so good. So just a little extra there. Oh, it smells so good. We are going to use a tablespoon of milk, okay? So I have a separate bowl for this. We're going to use a tablespoon spoon of milk right here. So let's go ahead and pour that in. So there's 1 tablespoon, tiny extra. Alright, so now from this we are going to take 1 teaspoon. As we mix all this stuff together, we're going to take 1 teaspoon. So first of all, let's grab 1 teaspoon of this now. Alright, so while we mix this, we're going to add this teaspoon at a time. So let's put this in now. And trust me, even though it doesn't look like it's going to be super wet and frosty and drizzly, it will turn out good. So, add another teaspoon and another. Okay. You don't want it to be like a batter, so don't wear it out too much. In fact, I want it to be able to be drizzled just enough. Now, put our last bit of milk in. Put that aside. Let's do it all again. Powdered sugar. Alright, so the cake is finished. I'm gonna check it one more time. Oh, it smells delicious. Alright. And it's clean. Perfect. So I'm gonna let this cool in the cooling rack until it cools, and then we'll put the frosting on it, and then I'll be right back. Okay guys, so let's frost this bad boy. It's finished cooling, and voila, that looks beautiful. So let's go ahead. Here's our frosting. Stir it up a little. It's a little hard. Hardened a little bit. And I have one secret ingredient. We're going to make our cake a little red, if you know what I mean. So let's go ahead and add a couple drops of that in there. And that's, uh-oh, I got it on me. That's gonna stay there for a while. Alright, so let's go ahead and stir this bad boy up. Make this nice red frosting. Look at that. Let's take a bunch of it and let us slather it on that cake. Here's our final product, everybody. I can't believe how deliciously awesome this thing looks. Let's get a top view of this thing. Holy crap. Now I get to eat it. So everybody, looks so good. I'm gonna try a bite of this bad boy right now. The fork. So let's do this, okay, you guys? All right. Nice bite. Oh, so good. Oh my god. Oh my god. That just tastes awesome. It's thick, it's chocolatey, it's warm, it's delicious. You guys, if you enjoyed this recipe and this little cooking video, click like. Also, see more, subscribe. Because if you want to see more of these cooking videos and if you don't subscribe, they're not gonna come. So make sure you subscribe to see them. Thanks everybody for watching today's cooking video, or today's video, little twist on things, and I will see everybody next time. Thanks everybody for watching. See you later. Bye guys.